right. My name is Christina Cabral, and I am very blessed to be the Executive Director of TAGHouston Region Transportation Advocacy Group. Welcome. Welcome to our gathering today, to be here to do a phenomenal thing, which is welcome and celebrate our two newest members of our transportation family. And that would be Glenn Albritton, who is the new head engineer for TAGHouston Region, and the new Director of Public Works for the City of Houston, Randy, and Randy's going to get this right, Mac-I. Is he over there? I see them hiding. Can they raise their hands real quick? Randy's hiding behind the pillar. Randy's beautiful wife, Kayla, was telling me it's Mac, like in Big Mac I. So I'm going to keep saying it, because I was saying it in Spanish. And not getting right. Thank you. Welcome, gentlemen. And we're here not only just to celebrate you in your new positions, but also hear your vision and hear your words of how we can support you and work together for our common mission, which is ensure that we have funding and resources for transportation for our phenomenal region. Before we continue, I do want to ask everyone if we can have a moment of silence. We had a tragedy yesterday in transportation, and we want to honor the victims today in Washington, D.C., the unfortunate crash of the plane in Washington. And we pray for all of the families involved, but particularly for our dear friend Mustafa and Selma Tamiz, whose niece was on the plane. So we can have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. And Mustafa did send his regrets and appreciated all the texts and calls that he's getting. He and Selma appreciate it. So now, let's get going on our program. And as I mentioned, TAGHouston, let's talk about what TAGHouston is. And I don't think I need to tell everyone, there's no test. But I just want to make sure we all remember what our core mission is. And that's to enhance regional mobility across our greater Houston region. And today, again, as I mentioned, we're blessed to have the two newest members of our team. They're going to be key leaders in our day in and day out advocacy for infrastructure and transportation. I want to make sure also that we would not be here today if it wasn't for, and as my mother and father always said, there's no I in team, for the entire team. And I want to first, because they always get overlooked, is thank the many folks, our team for TAG, which is Kyle Shoulders, who does our events and programming, Sam Medina, who does our membership, and the many, many volunteers who you see day in, day out. I do want to give them a round of applause, because we're nothing without them. And God love them. They're here every day, all day, and I want to thank them as well. I also want to thank our board members, and we'll be seeing a little bit later, but if all the TAG board members can raise their hand. They're tall in here. Thank you so much. Thank you for your hard work. We'll be hearing from them later. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but in addition to our phenomenal speakers, we're going to be sharing some information about a tool that TAG has had since 2014. It's called the Motion Map, and many of you know what it is, but we've some exciting enhancements and a refresh today, and we'll be sharing that with you later shortly in the program. I do want to also thank our sponsors. What would we be without our sponsors? And we're blessed to have you. And so if I can, if you indulge me, I'm going to name them out. And they're also on the slides, but of course we want to make sure that they know that we very much appreciate them. For our underwriter, DCCM. For our platinum members, platinum sponsors, H&TB and Raytech. For our gold sponsors, ADS, LJA, AECOM, Gannett Fleming, Geotesting Engineer, HDR, HJV and Associates. Oh, VJ, did I say V? HJV, sorry. Okay, one more time. You're not going to forget it now, I know, that's for sure. I will never forget that as long as I live. Thank you. Otheon, STV, and Wolpert. For silver sponsor, okay, EHRA, HAF, IDCUS, Pape Dawson, WSB, as in boy. Did I get that? All right. Okay. Whew. We get there. I'm very blessed to have all these sponsors and the individual tickets and all of you who spend and invest your good money in making sure that we achieve our mission. We also have our mobility partners and our mobility champions who are listed on the sideboard, and I'm not going to have a chance to name them all right now, but let's give them all a round of applause. I also know we're going to have several elected officials come and join us. I've seen a few walk in. I know Councilmember Martinez from the city of Houston just texted me, said he was on his way. We had a few other council members. I saw our city attorney, Arturo Michel. We also have our Metro board member, I believe Holly Fonseca was here, and there were a few others, but I want to thank you all for coming, and some are coming later, so please don't leave after the speaking because I know we're challenged with many events, but very blessed to have their support. So without further ado, I'd like to hand the mic over to our chair, one of our chairs of TAG, chair board, which would be Greg Reyes. Greg?
Thank you, Christina. I want to say what a great job Christina has done as our executive director, and I want to big hand. I thank all of you for being here today. I really do appreciate the support. It's as an organization, I've got a script, and I'm going to read it, I promise. But as an organization, we've Jack and a few folks recruited me 13 years ago to get involved in this organization, and back then we knew we had challenges. And it's incredible how much we've grown as a city and as a region. And I want people to understand and know and think about where we are today and what the traffic's like today. And think back 5 years when you got on I-10 West and you drove down I-10 West and you went, wow, this is amazing. Look how fluid this traffic is. Today, on both I-10 West and East, it is traffic all day. And that's because people continue to move to this city in droves, and it's not going to stop. So our job is only going to become much more difficult. We're so blessed as a region to have these two individuals who understand and know, they get it, what those challenges are. They were truly tested, obviously. How we do it in Houston. It's like, hey, here's your job. And then we, dump you with the largest and probably one of the worst winter storms we've ever had in the history of Houston. So deal with that, why don't you? And they both did a fantastic job being able to get that done. My job as co-chair, where is he? Mr. Jim Russ? Where are you at, Mr. Jim Russ? There he is. How did I get to do all this? And I thought we were going to be like co. I think co is supposed to be split 50-50 here. Anyway, thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. Today, we again bring key transportation leaders to help share their knowledge and vision for the Houston region. Our events and programs continue to provide the best platforms for elected officials, businesses, and local community leaders to work together to champion resources for transportation and infrastructure. TAG works with these leaders and policy partners to come up with innovative solutions to develop and support a transportation framework that will drive our region and our global economy for generations to come. And I mean global. People do not realize sometimes how important our economy, our regional economy is to this country as a whole. You know the numbers, I don't have to tell you. And so, but as leaders, we've got to continue to promote that. And when I say promote that, it means we need money. We need resources. We can't bring the finest of the finest like we're celebrating today without them having those resources. So it's so important for us to understand and know that we need those resources to continue to grow in our region. One of our key tools to support our goal is our motion map. And Dr. Lewis, where are you? She's been working on this for years. Where you are. I love this woman. My gosh. Incredible. Thank you for her leadership, Jack. I mean, when we first came up with the motion map thing, Dr. Lewis grabbed it and said, I got it. And, you know, our goal was to try to figure out, okay, where do we have problems? And how can we identify those? Whether we have the funds or we don't have the funds, we need to understand and know what those challenges are. And Dr. Lewis and her team, and she's got a great partner in Jim Webb now, who have done a fantastic job being able to identify those issues. This dynamic map is vital resource, gathering transportation proposals in one location, illustrating the multitude of mobility projects that require funding in the Houston region. And people say, well, it's just a map. No, it's not just a map. Get on 610 right now, okay? Be real about it. It's not going to get any better. And so we have to work hard at advocating for our region to continue to get what, Mr. Mackay, what do we need? What, Glenn, what do we need? We need money. We need funding so that we can resolve these issues. Brilliant minds. But if we don't have the funding, we're not going to get it done. And I look at it and go, wait a minute. We're putting this kind of money in those coffers, and we're putting this kind of money, and we're getting this kind of money. Wait a minute. That doesn't work. And so it's up to all of us, and that's why TAG was formed. Right, Jack? I mean, we said we were motivated by, we're going to go fight for our fair share. And, of course, Dallas was cleaning our clock at the time. And, you know, we said we had to do something about it. The motion map is central. I'm going to introduce them sooner or later here. I'm getting there. I'm passionate about what I do. I love it. Oh, my day job, by the way, is I'm a contractor, right? Engineers all know me. I have to build their stuff. Anyway, it's our mission to securing funding and supports infrastructure across all types of transportation, because we just didn't talk about roads. We talked about all sorts of transportation. We have identified all sorts of transportation. It's wonderful to be joined by two key leaders today as they share a commitment to many of those projects, part of their vision of Houston. To present the latest enhancements, please welcome my fellow board members, Jim Webb and Dr. Kara Lewis. Thank you.
I'm right here.
Came the other way.
That's okay. Good evening, everybody. So TAG created the motion map 11 years ago and to do two key things: identify and display our significant achievements, and also to underscore the unmet need that we still have relative to transportation infrastructure and the funds to enable it. So we've got a visual tool that showcases the progress our region has made, but really helps identify the need for consistent and strategic investments in our mobility systems. So this year's iteration of the motion map was renewed through the dedication of our partners all across the public sector, political subdivisions, our freight partners, local governments, a slew of data sets from HGAC, and more. Their commitment to meeting with us, sharing their priorities, and discussing their vision for the future has been invaluable. So thanks to their efforts, the 2025 Motion Map Update is live and accessible on the TAG website, TAGHouston.org. And it's a very timely release as we gear up for Greenlight Houston, February 26th, 27th. Mark your calendars, come with us to the state capitol, and use this tool to help advocate with our state legislators and let them know that we support the TxDOT LAR, we support all the innovative tools, everything that we need to keep us moving across this city, across this region, and really across the state. So I think now, if you guys can see, there's a QR code. If you scan that on your phone, you can access the tool, look at this information, mark it as a favorite, a bookmark, and use this moving forward. So can we pull this up on the screen too? There we go. So here, you get a taste of the motion map. We've got our regionally significant projects, from highway to toll to under construction to high capacity transit to freight, other mobility considerations, the real plan 36A, you name it. So this is a multimodal and a universal, comprehensive vision for the region. And today's really the perfect opportunity to unveil this as we honor two new leaders in our transportation landscape, with Randy, the city, Glenn with TxDOT. It really helps stand as a testament to the partnerships and the collaboration that drives this region forward, from the city to TxDOT and beyond. It's the entire region, right? All the counties, everybody. And a visual representation of what can be achieved when we work together towards those shared goals, now more important than ever. And I really want to emphasize, and I know Dr. Lewis does too, motion map is not a static document. This is a living, breathing, evolving tool. It adapts and grows, much like our region has. Our transportation needs and challenges are different now than they were 11 years ago, right? And that's going to be the case moving forward. So as we look to the future, let's build on the momentum that we've created. And we need to ensure that our mobility system remains a top priority for investment for years to come. So thank you all for being here today and for your commitment for advancing transportation in our region. Let's keep moving forward together. Thank you. And let me give some actual special credit here for Chris Cotter specifically, and the LJA team for their time and dedication helping fulfill this motion map, as well as the entire motion map committee with TAG. And Rob Maxwell as well. Thank you, Rob. Greg?
Thanks, Jim and Dr. Lewis. We'd like to hear now from our first speaker, Glenn Albritton. Glenn is the district engineer for TxDOT's Houston district. He oversees planning and operations, maintenance, and state transportation system for 6 counties in the district. Mr. Albritton was appointed in December of 2024 and brings more than 26 years of experience to the role, including his leadership during statewide disaster responses such as Hurricane Harvey and Hurricane Beryl. His new role, he oversees the Houston district, nearly 12,000 lane miles, which serves over 7 million residents, plus our wonderful Houston traffic. Glenn, come on up.
Man, well, thank y'all very much for showing up tonight. Man, this is very welcoming. Got lots of gratitude for this. I tell you, moving to Houston, really warm welcome. That's one of the things that I've been really impressed with. Everybody's been super welcoming, and I've really felt welcome here. So, like I said, been with TxDOT 26 years. Last 4 years in Abilene as the district engineer in Abilene. So. Same role, moved to Houston, so I've heard it a bunch. So is your job any different? Hell yes. Yes, it's different. I mean, big time different. Kind of reminds me of I was trying to think, I heard a story one time about a preacher, and he always went to work, did all the funerals, always was there every Sunday morning. always doing weddings and counseling people and just always busy. And he decided one Sunday morning, he decided, I think I'm going to play hooky this Sunday. And so he called up one of his deacons, said, I'm not going to be there, and okay. And so he loaded up his golf clubs, and he drove a couple hours away so nobody'd see him playing golf on this Sunday morning. And he went up to a par 4, 400-yard par 4, and he hit that driver off the tee, and the Lord just came down and made this perfect wind. Perfect wind, blew the ball and guided it just perfect, hole in one. Boy, and the preacher's jumping up and down, and Angel asked the Lord, like, why did you do that? And he said, well, who's he going to tell? Right? So yeah, very busy. I feel like the preacher, so if I'm, if maybe one day I'm not there, you might check the golf course. But yeah, anyways, I have learned just in the 2 months I've been here, we got to really rely on staff. And it's one thing that I've noticed working here in Houston. Got really great folks on staff at TAGHouston already there. Number of them in the room here tonight, so I appreciate them coming too. But really have to lean on them because it's I can't do it all by myself, and that's something that I've really learned coming here. So, and I think really the winter storm's a good example of that. Right, I mean, honestly, that went pretty good for as bad a storm as we had here in Houston. And so, and thank you for that. But it really it has everything to do with our folks in the field. Man, they worked hard. Our maintenance folks really worked hard during that, put in lots of hours. So, did a really good job there. It just shows how good a team we've got. So I know I've only got just a few minutes. I do want to talk about a few goals that I have personally, and I've got to really just, if you work for TAGHouston anyways, you always talk about safety as our number one goal. So I have to talk about safety. That is an important goal. And so realize not everybody here is super familiar with all of our safety policies at TAGHouston, but we've got 5 goals internally for in-house safety. This isn't road safety. This is just our employee safety. We have 5 internal goals, and so every year we try to meet these goals, and they have to do with vehicle incidents and injuries and lost time injuries and lost production days. So really, I go back and look really at the last 10 years for the Houston district. We have a big district, so I have a hard time meeting those goals, but we've met 3 of those goals 2 times in the last 10 years. So we've got room to improve, right? And so that's one of my goals we've got to really improve the safety of our employees. And I know staff here has worked to try to do that. That's just, I'm going to try to continue that and get better. But also system safety. We went, in 2024, we had 752 fatalities in the Houston district. Think about that, 752 fatalities in the Houston district last year. The year before that, in 2023, we had 732. So we actually went the wrong direction. We went up by 20 fatalities just in this last year. We can do better than that. And it's going to take more than just fixing roads, right? We've got to educate folks. Folks have to drive with the right attitude. We've got to get law enforcement involved. We've got to get some enforcement in this. And so I plan on trying to work together, especially with some of our agencies, especially in law enforcement. TAGHouston has grants. We call them STEP grants, but it's grants where law enforcement, where we pay their overtime to go sit out and patrol during certain times. So we're going to really try to encourage that, encourage some outreach, but make sure we're picking the right jobs. And so that's something we're going to do. And so another goal for me, just again, this is kind of an internal TAGHouston goal, but some in-house maintenance work, specifically on the pavement. Houston is such a big district. We have started using contractors and doing a lot of pretty much everything 100% contract. And we've lost some of that in-house skill. Want to work towards bringing that back over the next few years. And it starts with equipment. We need some more equipment. And that really became apparent during the snowstorm. We needed more equipment to help work that. So we're going to try to do that as we move forward as well. And so that's starting this summer. Our goal is we're going to have our first in-house seal coat. Our maintenance guys are going to do seal coat this summer in Waller County. So we're looking forward to that. And so that's going to be something that we're looking for. And just because I know there's a lot of consultants in the room, another one of my goals is plan review. So y'all get ready. If y'all dealt with me in Abilene, y'all know what I'm talking about. But plan review is important, and we've got to improve that here. The main reason, because the better our quality of plans are, the cheaper we can build it. The better quality our construction is, the less change orders, the more money we save. So we're working on some processes to work on our plan review. But I think I could keep talking forever, but I don't want to, Randy, I don't want to short your time, man. So, so I think I'll just close. I'll just say relationships are important to me. And so tonight, this is a good example of a collaboration, good example of being working together. Look forward to working with y'all. I know I want us to be responsive. I want us to work well with each other. And so really look forward to that moving forward. And again, thank y'all for coming tonight. And you going to introduce Randy? All right, back up. All right, thank y'all.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Glenn, welcome. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Before I introduce our next speaker, I want to thank both our mayor and the Houston City Council for having the vision to bring this kind of talent to the table. Public Works is an incredibly huge organization, and super excited about the future. And again, I want to thank our elected officials who had the vision to bring Randy on. Randy was named the director of Houston Public Works in November of 2024, largest accredited public works agency in the U.S. He oversees Houston's extensive public infrastructure with more than 4,000 employees and an annual budget of $3.3 billion. With Randy's dedication in public service and infrastructure innovation, TAG will have another great partner in making Houston a city prepared to meet the challenges in the future. Randy, come on up. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much. It's such a privilege to be here to support Glenn. And, you know, everyone's got to have a wingman, and I'm happy to be that one tonight. But no, really, thank you so much for the warm welcome. I also want to extend a little bit of personal thanks because there are many, many, many of you here in this room who are really actually directly responsible for me being able to be up here. I am grateful for your support, for letters of support that were written, but mostly I'm grateful for your willingness to listen and collaborate and provide feedback and to engage with us. You know, I think Glenn really hit on some of the key points of what I think is an incredible opportunity in front of all of us at this point. And I'll steal our mayor's favorite word to do it, and that's the word collaboration. If you've listened to John Whitmire talk at all about the things that we're doing as a city today, collaboration always comes up, and it comes to the top of the list nearly every single time. And you don't have to look any further than the things that we've been doing already in the last year to realize how true that is. You know, if you have an opportunity to go and drive Westheimer between 610 and Wesleyan, you see some of that collaboration already. An unprecedented project for the city where, in partnership with Metro, we're trying to fix everything. You see just the pavement conditions, but I see underneath the pavement conditions, which includes our water and our wastewater and our stormwater utilities as well. And you know, I think I've shared this story before, so I'm gonna have to come up with a new one soon. But I'm gonna take you back to when I was a little kid, and even as a child, I would wonder. Driving down the road, I would look at a piece of road that was just recently done. You know, we go through those moments of frustration with construction and detours and everything, and all of a sudden the project's finished. You think, wow, that's great. It drives well, it feels good, and then 3 weeks later, someone's digging it up. And even as a kid, I wondered, what in the world are they doing? Didn't we just do this? I thought we fixed it. When I joined Houston Public Works, I said to myself, I'm finally going to find out the answer why. Why are we doing that? And I hate to say it, but the answer is we don't know why. We don't really know. But no, we do. We do know why. And it's because we probably didn't do our diligence on the front side of realizing everything we needed to do in that spot to begin with. If we really took a moment to catch our breath and think about what we're trying to accomplish, we realize that well-set plans executed to perfection will save the taxpayer a lot of dollars later on. Instead of doing things twice and thrice and more times than you can possibly count because we didn't take care of something in that moment, we have a monumental opportunity in front of us now to recognize that together, collaboratively, if we put all of our resources together, we can accomplish things that no other city, frankly, in the country is really doing. Because I've spoken with public works directors in all of the largest cities in this country, and their problems are the exact same ones we have in Houston. And I take it as a personal challenge because I want to solve those problems. Just like Mayor Whitmire says, we will be the first large city in the country to end street homelessness. I'm telling you right now, we'll be the first large city in the country to fix our infrastructure problems by coming together and working on them collaboratively. And I think, and Glenn mentioned this, right? But that collaboration extends far beyond just the projects we do. It's all of the opportunities we have to work together. You know, Glenn, I don't think he sold it enough about this winter storm. We didn't just do pretty good, we did outstanding. Because what we dealt with was not something that we frankly really know how to deal with in Houston. But you can tell that there was a new energy literally on the streets as we were trying to solve the problem. Houstonians listened to our elected leaders. Our state leaders made sure that we had resources. We had people like Glenn in place with the vision to ensure that we had resources that came from out of our region to help take care of infrastructure challenges because we lack the equipment. And by the way, for the first time probably in history, the City of Houston will be present at the American Public Works Association's snow conference this year. Because we realize now that with 4 hard freezes in the last 5 years, that maybe this isn't the exception anymore. Maybe it's time we start thinking about how we are prepared. Maybe we start reevaluating where we've put resources in the past to get us there. And we have the tools, we have the resources, we have the expertise to collaboratively solve those challenges. Tools like Motion Map help put us on a firm foundation to understanding those challenges and realizing better ways in which we can allocate our resources. Taking the time to get together and plan projects out allows us to stretch dollars farther so that we can do more and we can do it faster. And I have a lot of goals for our department, but I'm going to tell you one of the ones that's really at the top of my list right now, and I'm so glad that Arturo is here. If you will take a moment and you'll get to know me, you'll know that I want to move at warp speed all the time. We just can't move fast enough to satisfy me. That's why I drive an electric car, so I can go faster than everybody off the line. It's how I've lived my whole life. And it's frustrating sometimes for me to say, oh, I can see what we need to do, but we just can't get in gear to move faster. One of those things is a process issue. You know, when our folks come to us and they say, hey, I can't get it done, there's an obstacle, this is whatever it is, my question is always, is this a process problem or is it a policy problem? And more often than not, it's a process problem. We have process problems in going from a award to a notice to proceed. I think you all know that. We got some big process problems. And we're going to solve that challenge. My goal is that our contracts are done and you've got notices to proceed in under 30 days. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how much we can get done if we can get to work right away? Can you imagine? And I know you can because your controllers and your CFOs have been counting the shekels along the way. Can you imagine how much we'll save by being able to get to work right away? That's how we start to eliminate those crazy change orders. That's how we get to the point where we're not trying to renegotiate a contract after it was awarded. I can't stand that sort of thing. I think we have opportunities ahead of us, and I'm just so grateful to be able to play what I consider to be a really small role in that, because this is going to require all of us together. It really is going to require all of us together. Together, we will solve our infrastructure challenges. It won't be just about getting ready for events like the World Cup. It's really about making sure that we provide solutions for Houstonians all the time. You know, that's the question we're asked all the time. What are you doing to get ready for the World Cup? And I'm not getting ready for the World Cup. I mean, we are, but there's a committee and people, and they have things they want to do, sure. But the reality is the things that we're doing right now impact all of our lives every day. That's our mission. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to improve quality of life for everyone. And so I'm so grateful to do that. I'm thankful to be here. I've gone way beyond the 5 minutes they told me I could have, but I appreciate all of you. And I want to just give one last shout out. There's a number of members of my team here that I'm grateful they could come. Just raise your hand as I see you. But Samir Solanki, our CFO, is here. O.J. McFoy, who's the city's new city engineer. Sarah Coulter over here, who will be our assistant director leading strategic initiatives. And Rita Ballard back here. Any of you who want to come visit with me, which, by the way, everyone is welcome to. You have to talk to Rita first, though, and she'll make it happen. So with that, thank you.
Thank you, Randy. We appreciate you. I've got one introduction that I need to make. My good friend, Councilmember Martinez, who just joined us. Thank you for being here, sir. Appreciate you. I thanked you earlier, by the way, for your vision and all that good stuff for bringing us a great public works director. So if you weren't here, but anyway, thank you so much. Appreciate it. If you don't mind, we'd like to open it up for a few questions, if you'd like. I will say to all of you, and Randy, thank you. Glenn, thank you for bringing your staff. If you don't know these folks, guys, get to know them. This is why we do this. Get to know them. That's important. First question.
Are we ready? Is this microphone on? Okay. First question right here.
Glenn, Randy, Darren Willer, on the board here with TAG, and one of the things we wanted to follow up on with you is really more of a statement or announcement and a question, but you know, the collaboration element that we have with this, one of the projects we've been carrying for a long time on our motion map, on our advocacy is NHHIP, and I know you're drinking out of a fire hose trying to catch up on that project, Glenn, and you've been working on it, Randy, for probably longer than that, but you know, one of the real elements that we want to make sure, you know, there's more work to do. There's you know, TxDOT's, we've gotten across the finish line. It's a safety project. It's a flood relief project. It's mobility. It's, you know, everything something for everyone, and we want to keep it moving. And that's one of the projects that is really a collaborative project, as Mayor said. And and so what the question to you is, you know, we know we have more work to do. We're going to session. We're going back to session again for you to continue to ask for money for these Clear Lanes projects. You know, some of those are on our list, but is there something specific we can do for you collectively, since this is a collaborative project between the two of you and many other agencies to help you?
Sure. Why don't you go first? You're closer.
I am closer. Great question. Next. No, I really think, I mean, we've got a funding, and you know, we've got a limited amount of funding. If we had maximum funding, we build everything we want to, right? So everything's got to be prioritized, and I think we're doing that. I think having MPO involvement is really key to help that. But these projects are key to TxDOT and the Transportation Commission as a whole. So, we're looking forward to delivering those. I think we'll get the funding if we can. We got to get the plans ready and get them lined up, and I think we'll be able to attain the funding.
This wasn't a gotcha project, but it wasn't a gotcha question by any means.
But I really do think any support anybody can give is important for any project, right? Any group, any individual, all that support matters. So.
Yeah, ditto. No, I think honestly NHHIP really is a great example of the collaborative efforts that we'll need to undertake if we're going to do it right. I can say as far as the administration is concerned, we've had a lot of conversations with many stakeholders, many stakeholders, and TxDOT is a huge component of that. They've been in the room with us. In fact, I remember early on in the mayor's term, Eliza was there with us. She's here. Varuna was there. They're part of the conversation that we're all having together about what we're doing. Because at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is that this is a project that's not just transformative from a transportation perspective, but also helps unify the community in ways that we don't have. The ability to have the Edo caps, for instance, right, is going to bridge a literal gulf that exists right now between downtown and the east side that is going to improve the quality of life for everybody. That's the thing. If you listen to the partnership and you listen to the folks at Central Houston, you understand how much downtown is growing right now. There's going to come a time where we're going to need to be and have a larger footprint. This is one of those ways that you do that, and you can have that kind of natural expansion. But collaboration is absolutely the key to it, and I think we're all committed very firmly to getting it done.
Next question, Dr. Lewis.
So I think I have the microphone, and then I'll hand it to you, Jim. Okay, so thank you. First of all, let me thank both of you for your comments. I really appreciate them. I'm a planner, so I heard both of you say we're going to do more planning in your comments. I appreciate that as well. Thank you. The motion map and both of your comments have sort of highlighted how much we have to do, how comprehensive, how broad. Darren sort of asked a parochial question, and then I'm going to do the same thing, ask a parochial question under the umbrella of I know how much we have to do. But TAG this year in our legislative agenda, we're supporting the TxDOT LAR for $175 million at least for grade separation. So I guess my question is, thank you, yes. We've had heightened attention to that of late in our region. So my question is, you've talked about collaboration. Most of our conversations have been with TAGHouston about this, but I'm just curious as to what we might do. Let's say we're successful in this LAR. What will we do locally to sort of advance the cause for all the grade separations and what I'm going to call roadway, railway safety, not just grade separations, but more?
I guess I'm closer this time. Yeah, thank you for that, Dr. Lewis. I think that's a loaded question, right? And it's loaded for a lot of different reasons. One, because there's no shortage of work that needs to be done when it comes to this, right? We recognize that train crossings contribute significantly to traffic volume. It contributes significantly to poor air quality. The data is very clear on this. It makes it hard for first responders to get to places they need to get to. We end up spending sometimes more money on trying to figure out how to solve that than maybe if we just spent the money on doing the grade separations in the first place would take. That's a off the top of my head opinion that may not be true, but I'm pretty sure it is, right? Because Because that's the reality of so many things. We will spend a lot of time and effort and money trying to figure out how to solve a problem when the answer's already in front of us. And so I applaud those efforts. I stand with Councilmember Martinez on this one, right? We need to solve those challenges because it's going to, again, I go back to it, it improves the quality of life for everybody. How do we prioritize that? I think data is going to help us understand that. We already know what some of the highest volume crossings we have in the entire country are here in Houston. We know that, the federal government knows that, obviously the state knows that, and so again, that's a collaboration thing. Let's all be at the table and have those conversations. And I'll say too, I was privileged to be part of a conversation in the mayor's office a few weeks ago where Union Pacific's CEO was there, Beth Whitehead, and we were talking about specific challenges related to the death of a young man. Those are conversations that, as I've asked around, have not really happened at this level in the city before. And so I applaud the mayor for being able to make it happen, right? It's a similar story about conversations we're having with folks in Austin. And I am not at all surprised that that's why when a snowstorm comes, TxDOT's able to send snowplows from all over the place to clear the road, not just in their own right-of-way, but in the city's right-of-way as well. Those conversations in the past were really hard to have, just asking for that sort of assistance. And so we're going to get there. It's going to take work, but relationships matter, and I think we've got a really good foundation to build on.
I'll just quickly add on to what Randy was saying. Yeah, it's going to take a long time to build overpasses over railroads. What can we do now? What can we do to make a difference now? What safety devices can we install as it sets today that's cheaper, we can do quicker? Some of those things exist. There's different countermeasures for that. We need to be looking at that and again, look forward to working with the city because there's funding out there for some of these smaller type projects, and I think we need to be exploring those and implementing some of those more to get them done quicker, right? So.
Okay, we're going to take one more question.
Gentlemen, Jim Ross, longtime board member with TAG, certainly a fraction of Darren and Dr. Lewis. Dr. Lewis asked the question, one of the questions that I had on my mind, and thank y'all very much for answering that on grade separations. Also, a dying breed here in the city of Houston, that is a native Houstonian. Kind of a neat thing, hearing Greg talk about the passion of what I-10 has become. A lot of people don't remember, as I do, when I-10 was 3 lanes in each direction, and the median barrier between the east and westbound lanes was just a chain link fence. So it's come a far way since those days in the 60s and 70s. So, but my question to both of y'all is in support of my colleague Greg and his passion regarding the funding component, both for the city of Houston and the basic infrastructure that is way beyond its useful life here in the city of Houston, as well as TxDOT. Please share with us, if y'all will, what y'all's passion and what y'all's objectives will be, Randy, going forward with the city of Houston, mayor and city council, and Glenn, you with the commission, and well as with the legislators, in order to help advocate for the funding that we so badly need here in the city of Houston and in our region of Southeast Texas in order to do the stuff and the improvements and rehabilitate and add to our infrastructure that is in much need of some help. Thank you.
So advocating for funding. So we're TxDOT, so we officially don't take official positions on legislation, but I think it's important that we have groups and individuals that do, right? And so I think that's why this group is very important to transportation because y'all can take that stand. I think what we're doing at a TxDOT level, especially locally, is we're trying to explore and take advantage of every opportunity that's out there, every funding opportunity, whether that's our safety funds or whether it's clear lanes, which we just started a clear lanes on I-10 project, that's a separate category of funding that the commission puts aside for certain projects like that, and to where we can improve congestion. So all those funding opportunities, we try to submit as many and more projects than is allowed to try to compete for as much as we can. We're going to continue to do that, try to take advantage of every funding opportunity we have. So.
Yeah, and I think in a similar way, the city is going to be aggressive in trying to get money everywhere. And in the first year of this mayor's term, you've already seen some of the fruits of that, right? And we're gonna continue to do that. Now, I think the other part of it is, of course, we also need to spend the money we have a little more wisely. We need to be a little bit more deliberate about sometimes the projects we're choosing and what their particular impact's going to be. But again, we get back to just the inception point of it, planning it out really well to make sure that we can start quickly, that we can avoid cost overruns and material escalations and things like that. I can tell you, as far as Public Works' enormous budget is concerned, and $3.3 billion is a big number, so that you can put that in perspective, that's 47%, Samir? 47% of the entire city of Houston's budget, operating budget, is just Public Works, okay? And there is, I can promise you this, there is no Public Works agency in this entire country that has anything that remotely approaches that. Why is that? Because nobody approaches the scope of work that we have to do, right? 16,000 lane miles of streets is part of our inventory. That's more than the overwhelming majority of state DOTs. So we have a huge task in front of us, and we've got to make sure that we are allocating those resources appropriately, and then continuing to advocate for additional assistance, because the reality is this: there's almost no amount of money right now that would help us get right today. There's that much work to be done. And even when you finish it at that point, because of how much there is, you're going to have to do a bunch of other stuff. But I'll tell you, there are things that we can be smart about. This year, we will launch in the city. In fact, thanks to City Council this week, we have started the very first, I can't believe it's the very first, pavement preservation program in the city of Houston. Maybe asphalt can last more than 3 months. I don't know, but we're going to try it. And I think that's a big part of the strategy too. It's one thing to continue to ask for more, but I think you also need to demonstrate that you're committed to doing right with what you have to start with too.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. As a native Houstonian, I want y'all to know how proud I am of your leadership and all the great things that you all are going to do. And we're here to support and help and collaborate and do everything we can to do our part to make this the greatest city in the world, because I know we can. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask Christina to come up and close it out. Thank you.
My goodness, thank you. Now, y'all don't run off too far. Don't run too far. We still have time. But listen, let's just give all our speakers a round of applause. And I learned a long time ago, keep it brief, kick it quick, and make sure the bar is open with good food. And we're doing that. But before everyone runs away real quick, I want to thank everybody. And I want to say that there's still time for Q&A. Glenn and Randy, there's some folks that had some other questions for you, some valid ones. Really appreciate that. Please do that. That's what we're here for. It's about collaboration. It's about working together. On that note, please make sure to be on the lookout for our next big events. Join us in Austin for Greenlight Houston Day. Woo! The committee, thanks all and the committee members, Monica, Karina, Claudia, Samantha, Hannah, everyone here, Bridget. February 26th, 27th, and then look out for State of Mobility coming soon. Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon.